I'm Steve Resnick. I arrived at the Growth Center in 1963, and they were turbulent years, and I was an activist in those days, a bit of an activist. I still am, as a matter of fact. And I want to talk about the personal Gus. Gus supported me and Stephen Heimer, and we were a bit of a pain, I think, to Gus at the time, and maybe even to the Department of Economics, and perhaps even to Yale University. But Gus was there, and he helped in a variety of different ways in terms of support, and perhaps in ways I don't even know, and so did the department. And I think I'm very proud of that. And I want to tell you a story about Gus, a tale. In the 1960s, Heimer and I were working with one another, and we came up with an idea, and we developed it into an article. And it was the first really serious article that we had written, either one of us. And so it meant a lot to us. It's your first article. It means something. And we were having a meeting, I think it was with Williams College, but I'm not positive about that. It was one of the first meetings that the Growth Center had with the Development Center at Williams. And Gus was extraordinarily busy in those days, perhaps even more busy than he is now. So he had a full load of traveling and first-rate administrator, as you all know, on research. He just finished his book with John Fay. And he was a busy man. And we produced this article just before that conference. And it was produced in that, I don't remember what it was called, but that blue paper, mimeograph paper, that if you touched it, you got it all over yourself, which we had in those days. And we gave the manuscript to Gus, I think maybe the night before the conference or something like that, this blue icky paper. And Gus read it, turning those pages with the smudges all over him. He read it. He gave us back comments the next day. And that has stayed with me for the last 35 years. I always said to myself, if I ever get into a position of some power, I would like to act to my younger colleagues as Gus acted to Stephen and myself in those days. It was an extraordinary thing for the man to do, for two young assistant professors at the time. It meant a hell of a lot to us. I don't know if we ever conveyed that to you at the time, but it did. We both talked about it. We were both impressed with it. And I don't know about Stephen, because unfortunately he passed away a few years later. But I always took it with me, and it's influenced my relationship with graduate students ever since. So thank you, Gus.